everyone. Welcome to the PFL World Tournament 1 Media Day. Up first, we have Logan Storley. We're going to take Zoom questions first, followed by live media. If anyone on the Zoom has a question, please use the raise your hands tab at the bottom. I believe you click on react. With that, anyone on Zoom have questions for Logan? All right, great. We'll move right over to live media. Dave, who we got? Start us off.
Oh, thank you.
Hi Logan, Elle Dawson here with Fight Bananas. Obviously, Umalatov made it to the finals last season. What did you see in his performance when you were watching back on the film?
Yeah, he's a talented guy. You know, he's got a great record. He's good everywhere. So, we know we have to pick our spots, go back to being true to who I am as a fighter, push the pace, get to my positions, and we knew it's going to be a tough fight. So you get excited for those, and that's really what I spent the last few months was kind of changing how last year went, and a lot of drilling, and I have great coaches and great teammates, and so I know that I'm ready.
Speaking of last year, when you spoke of his performance, of your performance in the tournament last year, you often said that you were really unhappy with just how that went. Can you speak a little bit more to that and what changes you've made?
Yeah, I don't think I was competing at where I should have been and running at the level that I should have been, and it was a learning process. Obviously disappointed, but I think it made me grow as a fighter. And so we went back to the drawing board and really honed in on things, and so I'm excited to go out there and show those skills that have gotten better over the last year and things that have changed.
You only have losses to the best on your record. 2 of those come from Amasov Yaroslav, a goat of the sport. Are you disappointed to see him leave the promotion and for you not to be able to get that fight back?
Yeah, I think at the time, my 3 losses, I think Umalatov was 22 and then 24-0, and Messiah was 18-0. So I don't do the math there. And world champ, both of them. So yeah, I think my record was 16-3. And I've come close and, got to be MVP for the belt and then lose to Amasov and then lose to Messiah. So I know I'm one of the best in the world, and, I've grown a lot from those fights. And yeah, I saw Amasov fought in CFFC 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that. Looked good. And so yeah, I'm happy that he's back competing, and so we'll see what the future holds for us too.
One more question for you. For those who have been following you a long time, saw you come up under the tutelage of Brock Lesnar. Could we ever see you post-MMA career entering into WrestleMania? Any events like that?
Yeah, Brock grew up same hometown as me. Spent a lot of time with him. My 8th grade freshman year. Went up there to Alexandria when he was training for the belt. Tony Ferguson was there, so I got to spend time with Tony as a senior in high school. So I had a lot of cool memories, which really got me into the sport as a young kid. Yeah, I think Brock's he's kind of retired doing his own thing, and I'm kind of doing my own thing. So I don't know. There's always you never say no to opportunities. But right now, this is what I'm worried about.
Thank you so much.
Jonathan, all we Fight Bananas. What do you feel like are some of the biggest adjustments that you might have made from going from the season format to the tournament format moving this year?
Yeah, I think you're not worried about points. Every time you step in there, you want to get a finish. You don't get paid to be in there longer. Nobody wants that to be in there the whole time. But you were thinking a little bit about, okay, if I go out there and get a quick 5 or a quick 6, it makes life a lot easier. And so I think with this, it's win in advance. You have 3 fights to become world champ, and that's the goal, right? And it starts on Thursday night, just win in advance, And so you want to put a dominant performance. You want to have your best performance every time you step in there. But now you know exactly what it looks like and who's on the board, the bracket, and so that makes it a little easier for us.
Now, you've been training with Impa a little bit as well. How does it like having someone like that in your corner going towards the same goal?
Yeah, you know, I think at Gilcliff we have me, Jason Jackson, Beckhoff, you know, he's spent time, Impa, AJ, Lynn, Adam. So there's a lot of guys that you spend every day with that are all going through the same thing as you. So it is cool. Me and Impa spend a lot of time. Me and AJ spend a lot of time. And Aaron Jeffrey. So I have great training partners, great guys around me to, yeah, we're all chasing the same thing. You know, a belt and to become the best in the world.
Logan, stylistically, you and Magomed are both very dominant grapplers. How do you see this fight playing out this week?
Yeah, you know, I think it's going to come down to positions and scrambling and who can really win their position. You know, and they're, you know, he's good everywhere. Kind of more of a Russian style, you know, clinches and he's good with submissions. You know, he's a little longer than me, but I don't think he can keep the pace. Right, and that's what you get ready for, is to that American wrestling style, keeping the pace, winning the scrambles, and putting 15 minutes of total effort. And I don't think guys can do that, right? And so for me, that's what I'm thinking. And I'm gonna put such a hard pace on you that you don't want to be in there.
Logan, I got one for you. You mentioned the bracket earlier. Have you checked out the bracket? Is there a perfect fallout for you? Be like, oh, if this guy wins, this is a great matchup for me in the next round. Have you looked at it and say, this is a great fallout of the bracket for me?
No, because when you're a little kid, you go to a national tournament and you start looking, okay, if I do this and I beat this guy, that's when mistakes happen.
Okay.
You know, and you start looking ahead, and like we've seen in MMA so many times, it don't matter what the odds are, who, you know, you're supposed to win. Anything can happen, it's a fight, right? And so for me, you know, I think they put me with one of the best guys right away, and perfect. You know, I got to be sharp from the start of the tournament, and that's what we were getting ready for. Is you fight like this is the world title fight. You know, each time you go up there, it's one shot, right? You don't get a second chance. So we knew that from the start. We had one of the best guys right off the bat, and we're prepared for that.
Last one for me is, you mentioned earlier you defeat MVP, also beat Buckley on your run of your great career so far. What was a better performance you think for you against both of those? Those are two of the biggest names in the sport right now in that division.
Yeah, Buckley, you know, had a down performance, 30-27, 30-26, 30-26, something like that. We were both young fighters, and you know, I really dominated the wrestling, the grappling, got to my positions. MVP, it was a title fight in his home in London, 5 rounds. There was few more like obstacles to go through with MVP, but both of them. Now look what Buckley's doing. You know, Buckley's on a run and doing great over there, and so I don't know. I'm proud of both of them. Obviously, it was great to win the belt over there. You know, which kind of capped, that point of your career, and you're excited getting towards that spot. So I don't know. You know, I fought a lot of great guys, and so I'm just excited to add another name to that list.
Awesome, thank you.
Hey man, Dylan here with Combat Casuals. Coming from Bellator, but getting to compete in the old PFL format, do you have a preference now that you're entering back into that kind of Grand Prix style bracket system as opposed to the preseason and the playoffs?
Yeah, I think this is a lot easier for people to understand. When people would ask, you know, like, what does that mean, you know? So now you can pretty much get in the bracket. It's a lot easier for fans. And it's 3 fights in, how many, or 5 months, something like that, 5, 6 months. Before it was 4, and there was that break, winter, November. So I don't know. I think just win in advance, win 3 fights and you're the champ, right? That seems pretty simple. Even MMA, you know, people that aren't huge MMA fans can follow a bracket. Everyone can follow a bracket. And so, yeah, I'm excited for that. Just, I know the dates, we kind of know where we're going, and I'm excited for it.
Awesome, man. So now we did mention your wins over guys like Michael Ben Page, Joaquin Buckley. When you see those guys establishing themselves in title contention in places like the UFC, do you feel a sense of accomplishment that you have wins over such big names like that?
I mean, I've competed against the best in wrestling my whole career. Look at our gym at one point. It was, I think we had the top 8 of the 15 with Kamaru, Shavkat, Ian Garrett, Gilbert Burns, me, Jason Jackson, Vicente Luque, Becca. Like, I've known that Robbie Lawler, you know, is my main guy, and you know, helped him. Michael Chandler, Impa, AJ, Gregory Rodriguez. If you go look from 185 to 155 at Killcliff, we have a lot of the top guys in the world, and since I've been in South Florida since 2017, those have been my training partners. So, obviously, you know, maybe I don't get as much recognition as some of the bigger names. I know I've known where I'm at for a long time, and I'm a really big social media guy, so I don't really care what people think. I'm good, I have great friends, a good life, and I just love to compete. So I know where I'm at, and I know where I've been at for a long time, and so now it's fun to get to go out there and be part of this bracket and go for 3 fights together.
Awesome, man. And now you did mention some of the big names that you get to train with out at Killcliff. Do you feel like you get an advantage going in there against your opponent when you have such a big, you know, such an awesome group of names around you that you get to train with day in and day out?
Yeah, I think it helps all of us. But you know, there's other gyms with big names too. ATT's got a lot of, you know, great guys as well. And, you know, there's other big, great gyms around the world. But I think it's just that consistency of always being with someone, you know, with a great partner who's pushing you to your absolute rank every single day. That just, it builds over time. You know, each time, each fight, you get a little better because of the partners, because of the people, because of your coaches. And that's really what we have going for us in Copa.
So what does capturing another world title in a new organization mean to you? And is the motivation the same as it was when you captured your Bellator title?
I think for me is something you can look back on and just be proud, you know? Not having any regrets on your career, you know? And it's not always, it's not about winning, it's not about belts, it's not about this, it's about how you competed. That's really what matters, is the pursuit of greatness, right? That's, in wrestling, that was before NIL, that was before, you know, these kids are getting paid. We did it for nothing. We weren't on there for, like, we got to get a Big Ten channel on ESPN for NCAAs, but we didn't do it for money, we didn't do it for fame. We knew we weren't going to be famous. You did it for the absolute pursuit of doing one of the hardest things in the sports, you know, in wrestling. And we didn't, you know, we did it for a scholarship, which is obviously great, but you did it for the pursuit. And that's the same for me now, is just to look back and be proud of my career and my legacy and what I accomplished and how I competed every single time I stepped in there.
So last one for me, how do you mentally prepare to compete 3 times in such a short period of time? And is your in-gym preparation a little bit different than it would be for, say, a regular fight?
I guess you kind of, the first camp is always the same, right? Because, you know, you get one chance to go out there, and then after this, I think it's 10 weeks, and then it'll be 7 weeks for the finals. So you gotta make sure your weight's on point, your body's on point, and everything is firing on all cylinders, right? Really, at the end of this, it's gonna be who's the healthiest and who's the most excited to be there, to fight still. And so I think I have a lot of great people around me outside the gym too. I really smart people that we put a plan together of this is how we have to do it, this is how we gotta have our body ready to go, and yeah, I'm excited to kick this off and put these 3 fights together.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Anyone else in here? Mike, did you have a question from Zoom?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Logan, you talked a lot about so many different things today, but when you look at this, not just the format, but what's the kind of culture, the vibe around the PFL, your fight week this week? Because I think last year, a lot of fighters who were coming over from Bellator, there was a lot of figuring out to do. You mentioned how the format is easier, more simple, I should say, how everything's kind of laid out clearly. So how does this fight week feel compared to last year?
You're seeing a lot of familiar faces. The schedule's the same. For us, the train in South Florida was easy, 2.5 hour, 3-hour drive. Yeah, I think it, a little more comfortable for me because now I really understand how fight week goes for PFL. And so, and we know exactly what it looks like as far as the bracket, weigh-ins, this, that, the other thing. People from Bellator that I used to see, so it's been great. And I'm excited to be here.
You mentioned even non-MMA fans can follow a bracket, and you mentioned, like I said, it's a little more simple when game planning for the next 5 months or 4 months for, this world tournament. How do you think fans should come into this PFL world tournament with optimism and excitement, not just for a new change to the PFL, but to learn about fighters and your brands as you move forward in this tournament?
Yeah, I think they get to see all the fights, each week, see the guys, who's coming up. You get to watch them on the same card, so you get to see both their styles and what that looks like for the next fight. And they're going to be active, so you get to follow them over the next 4 months. And so it's a lot of fun for a fan to see a guy being active.
Awesome, thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
Alexander.
Yes. Hello, Logan. I have a question to you. Your opponent is from Dagestan. What do you know about Dagestani wrestling school? Did you learn it, and do you afraid the techniques of Dagestani wrestling?
I forget. Eggs and wrestling. Is that your question?
Yes.
No, obviously they're very good. They're very talented. American wrestling is very good, very talented. So I'm excited to go out there and show my skills, show my pressure, show my pace, and be the best man win.
Thanks.
All right, Logan, that's all I got for you today. Thank
All
you
right,
so
cool.
much for coming in. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So then we're just walking straight in.
And then now it's back recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as long as you see the red fire,
Okay.
that's all red.
Yep. Okay.
Numbers being red is all you really.
Cool. All right. All right, guys. Next up, we have Adam. Anyone on Zoom have a question for Adam? All right. Oh, go ahead, Mike. You're on mute.
And welcome to Fight Week. Just curious for you, I just asked Logan the same question. How is this fight week compared to last year? A little more familiarity with the PFL, but it's a bracket, it's a world tournament, things are a little more simple to understand for fans, for fighters, for everyone involved. What does this fight be compared like to last year?
I mean, for me, it's almost the same. Obviously, I like it better because it's in Florida. I had to just drove here and it's so much easier. But I think it's just a regular fight for me.
And when I talked to you about a week or two ago, you mentioned just how the life of a fighter is not an easy life. Now that you're here, I know that training and no fight is ever easy. But is this kind of like where we're getting closer to the easy part because you're going in and being able to do what you love?
Oh, definitely. After tomorrow, after the win, it's gonna be the fun part is coming. You know, I can eat, I will have energy, everything, and just do what I love.
Last one for me. I know you're excited to get back in there. Is it more excitement to just get back in there and compete again? Or are you more excited to have this opportunity to once again prove yourself as one of the very best in the world?
So in the last year, I learned a lot. I really know now I'm one of the best 145 around the world, and I just want to prove that. And I grew a lot in the last couple of years. I mean, I wasn't too active because I had some injuries and everything. But I grew a lot, and I just want to prove that, show everybody who I am.
Any more questions for the Zoom? Did you have another one, Mike? Okay. Take it away.
Jonathan Raducanu, Fight Bananas. Just like you mentioned, you have one fight in the last 3 years. What are some of those tools that you've developed and been able to sharpen over that time?
Okay. Last 3 years.
One,
Yeah, for people and yeah, but anyway. I mean, I was kept training. I kept training, you know. Of course, I had a big surgery, you know, recovering. And last year I got hurt again, but it was like 2 months recovery, so it wasn't too bad. So I was kept training, and I think I grew a lot, and also mentally and physically, I'm so much better than before.
you talked about in the new PFL video representing Hungary, right, as your country. What does it mean to you being able to do that in this new tournament format?
Represent my country means everything to me. I think I just put Hungary on the map, and before me, nobody put me on the organization. I could fight for a title also in Bellator, and I'm just happy to represent my country and show the next generation we can do it also. And I think I'm sure the way we can achieve this also.
Now, you had to modify your game last year without the elbows. Elbows are back this year. How excited are you for that?
I'm really excited for that. You know, I really like to use my elbows and knees. I'm happy for that.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Alan. Elle Dawson with Fight Bananas. You've been very vocal about your concerns about Jesus Pinedo missing weight. Obviously, he had a big weight miss that resulted in a fight cancellation recently. How concerned about that are you, and should he miss weight, will you still fight?
Depends about how much he needs, you know, because if he miss 3, 4, 5 pounds, you know, he can be the next day 180 or something. That's not right. And also, if you miss weight last time, you should make weight or move up, because I'm a pretty big 145er. I walk around also 170, 172, and I'm always eating clean all day, every day, all year, and it's not easy for me, so everybody has to be professional.
You spoke about your injury, fractured your ankle, but had to pull out, against Brett Johns. How difficult is it to stay healthy when you're fighting so many times per year in the tournament? And are you happy that there are fewer fights this year?
Yeah, I was a little bit stupid because I'm training a guy who I'm not supposed to be training. It was like an ego fight and he did a crazy move, so it wasn't like overtraining or something. And it was really bad because I think that fight could be my easiest fight in my career. Sort of a Brad, but he's 35 and you know, and I supposed to win the $1 million last year, you know. So they took a lot of money from my pocket. It's really bad, but I really take care of my body, and I'm 31, but I still feel like 25. I'm the guy who is like really disciplined. My Sundays, my day offs, like I wake up, I go jogging, sauna, ice bath, stretching. That's my Sundays, and I can tell you during this camp also I didn't hurt, I didn't feel anything because I really take care of my body. I use a hyperwash chamber, everything what I can. I spend my money for my body. I feel like this is the way how fighters supposed to do it.
Absolutely. Last question for you. You already have a win over Jeremy Kennedy, who is in the opposite side of the bracket. How do you expect the fight to go against Magomed? Do you expect to see Jeremy Kennedy further on in the tournament?
I hope, man. I really like that guy. He's a good guy. We have a good relationship. We just meet up, right? And we talk about it. And his wife is so nice also. And my wife, they talk each other. I really like that guy, but it's the fight game. I hope he wins. I really like that guy, and I wish him the best.
That's the team. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
And your opponent, Jesus Pinedo, has been away from the cage for close to 2 years. Do you believe that lack of activity will play a factor on fight night?
I don't know that. For me, you know, I had a 1.5 years layoff before my last fight, and I was scared about that, but I didn't feel anything. He had so many fights in the past, so I think he has the experience. He can handle that. I'm expecting the best Jesus Pinedo, so I'm ready for that.
And then I saw you were recently training with Michael Chandler again. How was that experience, and what do you think is going to happen in the matchup between him and Paddy Pimblett?
I hope and I know he's gonna knock him out. He's in really good shape. We trained together like many years, like 7, 8 years. We did so many camps together, and we fought on the same events. I think he's just so much better fighter than him.
Thank you.
Adam, do you feel like you're the dark horse for this featherweight world tournament?
I think I'm dark horse of the 145 100.
Okay, love that. I saw a post on your Instagram. It was a great post with you fishing and you kind of today, and it was almost about like your MMA journey. Can you expand on that and talk about what has MMA done for you personally?
So I'm a guy from a village where 2,000 people live, and nobody really knows what's MMA. And when I was a kid, I always wanted to do martial arts, but I grew up in a small village and I didn't have an opportunity to train. And after I went to high school, I found out Muay Thai club, and I just fell in love. And since then, I was like, I'm gonna be a fighter. And they said, you are really talented. So I started pretty late, like 16 years old, you know. And I felt that's the first sport when I am really better than other people. So it's a crazy journey because I never thought from the village I'm gonna live in Florida, you know. And I think the building where I live now, it's more people live than my village. So it's just crazy story. And I always wanted to be the champ of the Hungarian people. And I feel the love what they sent me, and it means a lot for me.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dylan here with Combat Casuals. You made your pro debut at such a young age, and though your nickname is the Kid, you're 31 years old now. How do you feel that growing up inside the cage has helped you face such big moments like this in your career?
Definitely, it's a process, you know. I think everybody has to build his career. Like, I fought small organization, after I went for bigger shows, and after I signed with Bellator, and it's a process, but it's amazing, man. I grew a lot, like personal, so for example, in school I was always like excited when they asked something, like, oh, I have to answer, and I was like, when I started to fight, like, if I fight in front of like 5,000-10,000 people, why am I scared, so it's a great journey. I'm definitely who I am because of the martial arts today. So I'm just thankful for the sport. That's why I fly the first time in my life because the martial arts. I came to the U.S. So without fighting, maybe I could be just a small village guy, And now I have more experience about the world and everything.
Now, having faced some of the elite names in Bellator, Aaron Pico, Patricio Pitbull, Pat Curran, do you feel that you have an advantage against anybody that could step in front of you in this tournament because you've seen the best of the best at this weight class?
Definitely. I think I fought against really, really good, tough guys, and I have my experience and just about my skill set. And in Kickliff FC, they really know I'm one of the best 145er. I have to just show that. Unfortunately, when I fought people, I was like without ACI, so I just couldn't cancel the fight. But if I'm healthy, I could be a champion.
Now, you said that it doesn't matter who you'll be facing later in this tournament, but with the possibility of fighting 3 times in August, how do you physically prepare to preserve yourself for that quick turnaround?
Honestly, I'm not thinking about too much now. I just focus like, oh, this is my next fight, like surely like in Bellator. But after this, I'm gonna be smarter, and like I just said, I really take care of my body. So I have a group, I'm really crazy and
Борьбой и насколько это является угрозой для вас?
The question is, how do you take Logan Sterling's wrestling? Do you think it's a threat to you at all? And do you think you're going to be able to overcome that?
Я думаю, это единственное, что известно, борьба. Как мы знаем, это не борьба, а СММ, поэтому нужно владеть всеми навыками, и какая защита, и умеет бороться, бить. Поэтому я уверен в себе и покажу это бою.
Yes, his wrestling is strong, but that's, I believe, the only thing he has. And we are not in a wrestling, we are in an MMA game. You have to be well-rounded. I have great takedown defense, I have many other skills, and we'll see who has better tools altogether.
Можете сравнить состав участников Гран-при с прошлым сезоном и кого вы считаете основным оппонентом во всей сетке?
Can you tell us your opinion about other opponents in the bracket and who you think has also high chance of becoming a champion besides you?
Уровень не сильно изменился, так остался на высоком уровне, состав никого нельзя недооценивать, и очень много сильных ребят. Я берусь против прошлого чемпиона Bellator, также Джесси Джексон, там чемпион Дрейка, что Magomed, там очень талантливые сильные ребята, и поэтому настраиваться просто на каждый бой и заглядывать вперед.
As always, PFL doing a great job with talent. We have former champions. We have Jason Jackson. We have Andrei Koreshkov, Mohamed Berhamov, former champions from Bellator, PFL. So I think it's a great team altogether, and everybody's worthy.
Василий,
Привет, привет. Два вопроса сразу. Как ты думаешь, кто дойдет до финала Гран-при с противоположной стороны сетки? И второй вопрос. Является ли Иван Шевченко для тебя самым желанным боем в случае, если ты выиграешь этот бой?
Two questions. One is, who do you think is likely to face you in the final tournament fight, coming from the other side of the bracket? And the second question, how important it is to you to face Musayev and get your revenge?
Знаешь, тяжело прогнозировать, кто там
So as I said, everybody in the bracket has a great chance, so I'm not gonna say who's gonna come out, whoever that's gonna be, you know, they better be prepared. And when it comes to rematch with Musayev, yes, I definitely would like that. Because the last time, the championship, I really was not in the best shape. I don't like making excuses, but there were a couple of things, I was not on my 100%. So I definitely would like that rematch under better circumstances.
Hey Magomed, Elle Dawson here with 5 Bananas. You train with one of only 2 men to ever beat Logan Storley. What is it like being in the gym with Yaroslav, and how has he helped you prepare for this fight?
Logan Umalatov.
Yes, it's helped me a lot because Yaroslav beat him 2 times. I know that that's why I asked Yaroslav help me for this camp. Give me a couple of advice. And that training was starting and I'm ready for this fight.
There's another fighter that I know you've spent a lot of time with in this camp, and that's Dakota Bush. A lot of fighters in the gym consider him one of the best guys that is not signed to a major promotion. Would you like to see him get picked up by a show like PFL in the next couple of years?
Yes, of course, he deserves. He's a town guy. He helped me a lot also. And I'm not in the best gym as well. Have a lot of talents.
You've competed in a tournament before with the World MMA Championships. How does that structure compare to the tournament here at PFL?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I apologize.
Oh, just he's competed in the WMMA Championships before. How does the tournament that you competed in previously compare to the PFL tournament?
Well, the turniere WMMA championship, that's for sure. Right, it's come on.
Different, I think only because 3 fights, not 4 fights, and not points. I don't need points. Sometimes you're looking for these points, looking for finish. It's not good. Sometimes you have to be patient. Just be patient until you fight. Knockouts coming.
Last question for you. Earlier today, Logan Storley was asked if he was afraid of Dagestani wrestling, and he responded and said that he felt like American wrestling brings a better pressure, and a pressure that you will not be able to keep up with. How do you respond?
Everybody knows Dagestan wrestling is better. Russian wrestling is better. No. We'll see. This is fine.
Thank you so much.
Magomed, after starting your career 17-0, like you said, you didn't go into the last fight the healthiest, but was there anything that you learned in that fight that will allow you to be a better fighter moving forward?
I can't say I learned something because I knew my problem, no. But there is no chance. This is final. You have to fight. If you have problem, nobody care. You have to fight. That's why I just want to get rematch. Now this is my goal.
Recording in
You have
progress.
to restrict yourself and not throw any elbows for such a long time being in the PFL. How excited are you to add that weapon to your arsenal moving forward?
I like elbows. I used it before, long time for PFL. Now I can use it. I think it's one of the dangerous weapons.
Thank you, good luck.
Magomed, you mentioned a problem going into the final last year. Were you injured going into the $1 million final?
No, my big mistake was I went to Dagestan. I changed my camp for months and a half, 2 months. It was not smart because I didn't train in Dagestan almost 5 years. I went too late. I got jet lag, I got sick, and I was just cutting weight for fight.
And then were you surprised that Shamil Musayev didn't re-enter the tournament this year?
No. I'm surprised because he got money that best.
Thank you.
Dylan here with Combat Casuals. Now you had quite a busy year last year, competing 4 times. In the span of about 7 months, what did you learn from that experience that you can bring over to this tournament format? It's going to help you, again, copy that and fight probably 3 times within the span of about 4 months.
this season always difficult, and you have to be smart training, smart cutting weight, not overtrain, because every 2 months you fight, always diet, injury. I have experience because every year I fight, and I know what I can do.
Now, your opponent, Logan Storley, is one of the few former champions in this tournament. Are you looking at this as an opportunity to not only capture a world title, but to add some prestigious names to your resume?
Yes, of course. He's a big name. I follow the champion, and I'm gonna beat him as a welter champion.
Awesome, man. And now you have a win over Andrei Koreshkov, who is also fighting in this tournament, but on the other side of the bracket. Have you considered the fact that there's a possibility that you may be fighting him for the world title?
Maybe yes, because he's dangerous guy. And, they both, Jason and Andrei, I think it's 50-50 because Andrei has a good striking counter power, you know. This is fight just one punch and fight over.
Awesome. And last one for me. Now, coming off of your first career loss, have you made any key changes that you feel will help you recapture another win streak?
So difficult, you know, because first time. Even now, sometimes when I go sleep, I'm thinking about it. You know, it's so difficult. That's why I'm gonna get this rematch.
Thank you so much.
Not everyone? Okay, awesome. Thank you, Magomed. Appreciate your time today. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go get Andre.
Really cool.
Wear the shirt just for the interview. You can take it off after. Do you want to translate it for Alex? Okay, great. You're off to the translate.
Okay, bro.
And then you'll sit next to me.
Next to
To me, yeah, because we have a mic. And then and then you can sit right over there.
Excuse me.
Thank you. Yep, right. Alright guys, we have Andre here. Anyone on Zoom? Mike, kick us off please.
Andre, as a former champion coming into this PFL World Tournament, you've obviously been a part of Bellator that built themselves off of these tournaments. What motivates you coming into this year and this tournament, since you've already been a champion? Is it just adding a new belt to your collection?
Вопрос про твою мотивацию. Ты был чемпионом Беллатора, ты сделал свою карьеру хорошим чемпионом Беллатора, у тебя уже был на поясе чемпионский пояс. Что мотивирует тебя участвовать в этом гран-при в этом году? Может быть, это чтобы еще один пояс добавить к своей коллекции?
Ну, еще один пояс, естественно, это мотивация, но в то же время я свою карьеру не завершил, она у меня продолжается, и я постараюсь добиться новых достижений.
Of course, having a new belt around my waist is a great motivation, but also I would like to add that I do not view my career to be finished. I used to fight for belt for a long period of time. Now it's a new page, new era in my career, so I just keep going.
What excites you the most about the PFL and what they're doing with this World Tournament?
Что тебя больше всего впечатляет в том, что делает PFL, в частности, касательно Гран-при этого года?
Вообще, сам по себе формат Гран-при очень интересный, также очень хорошие призовые, такие, какие, наверное, каких нигде нет.
Well, I personally found the tournament format to be very interesting, and also the grand prize at the end is pretty significant, and I don't think that any other promotion in the world has this kind of prize money and this kind of format.
Last one for me, I think especially in the PFL more than other promotions, fighters from Russia have had plenty of success, and it's almost like they've taken the throne at PFL. What would it mean to you to go and win this whole thing and add your name to the great Russian fighters who have had success in the PFL?
Бойцы из России очень себя хорошо показывают в PFL, как и других промоушенов, PFL особенно. Как ты считаешь, будет ли для тебя мотивацией добавить свое имя в ряды чемпионов по PFL из России?
Бойцы из России, в принципе, сильные. И я считаю, что сильнейшие в этом виде спорта. И, естественно, для меня будет одна из мотиваций добавить свое имя в имена тех, кто в ПФЛ добились больших высот.
Well, I consider fighters who come out of Russia to be one of the strongest, if not the strongest, in MMA, in the sport of MMA. And because of that, that would be a good motivation for myself to add my name in a list of guys who has already became a PFL champions who achieved a great success here.
Thank you, guys.
Alexander, will you translate he's gonna ask.
Андрей, приветствую. Хочу спросить, вот первый бой, это не просто бой первого раунда, но и главный бой вечера, и бой двух бывших чемпионов Беллатора. Насколько ты доволен тем, что выбрали такого соперника, именитого, сильного сразу?
So the question is that it's not going to be just the first event in this year's tournament. It's going to be a main event, and this main event is going to be between two former Bellator champions. What do you think about that, and does it motivate you in some way? What thoughts does that bring to you?
Ну, на самом деле, мне без разницы, против кого выходить, лига сама решает, но здесь, с одной стороны, есть доп. Мотивация, потому что соперник очень сильный, очень серьезный, один из фаворитов этого гран-при, я считаю. И, как правило, вот с такими ребятами мне драться намного комфортнее в плане настроя и в плане подготовки.
Well, usually I don't really care who stands across from myself in the cage, but in this case, I find it to be an additional motivation for myself. The fact that I am facing probably one of the best fighters at that weight, former champion, and usually I feel way more comfortable fighting the top level fighters rather than average guys. So yes, that is a great motivation for myself to face such a tough challenge in the face of my opponent.
Есть ли желание встретиться с Магомедом Умалатовым в финале турнира, чтобы взять у него реванш?
Do you have a desire to have a rematch with Magomed Umalatov in the finals of the tournament to make a redemption, to make a rematch with him?
Если говорить о бое с Магомедом Умалатовым, да, было бы интересно с ним встретиться, но для начала нужно мне дойти до финала и ему, соответственно, уже
Well, of course, that's the fight that I would be excited about. However, for this fight to happen, first I have to advance to the finals, and second, Magomed needs to advance to the finals. Only after that we can discuss that.
Hi, Andre. Elle Dawson with Fight Bananas. So you fought first for Bellator in 2012 and have by far the most experience on this card. You fought names like Douglas Lima, Vincent Henderson. Do you feel like you are being disrespected by the odds makers as the underdog?
Ты один, наверное, из самых опытных, если не самый опытный боец в этом карте. Ты начал выступать в Беллаторе в 2012 году, я помню раньше. Ты сражался с такими людьми, как Даглас Лим, Бенсон Хэмерсон. Скажи, пожалуйста, тебе как-то задевает тот факт, что в рейтинговой компании они ставят против себя в ring?
Лично меня это никак не задевает, потому что для меня это будет, наверное, являться даже больше мотивацией, так как мне нравится быть андердогом и нравится всех удивлять.
Well, I find an additional motivation in that because I enjoy being an underdog, and I enjoy the feeling when I manage to surprise everybody by my performance.
Just one more for you, Andre. Do you like the increased risk of the tournament without the point system? It's either win or go home at this point.
Как ты относишься вот к новой системе Гран-при по сравнению с предыдущим годом, когда тут олимпийская система на выбывание, да? То есть не как в прошлый раз, где подсчитываются очки, есть шанс даже в случае поражения продвинуться. Тут, если спортсмен проиграл, он выбывает. Как ты к этому относишься? Что тебе больше нравится?
К этой системе я отношусь, наверное, более положительно, так как здесь сразу все понятно и реально побеждает тот, кто сильнее. И не важно, как ты выигрываешь этим образом. Вот. И, и в принципе, система на вылет, да, олимпийская система, она, наверное, тебя сильнее мотивирует и заставляет намного жестче выкладываться в предстоящем поединке, нежели там, когда у тебя есть какой-то второй шанс.
I like this system better. The Olympic system, when you lose, you're out. I think it's very clear. I think it's really easy to understand, and besides that, it motivates you, it makes you bring the best out of you, because you do not have this luxury to lose and maybe somehow get back with the point system. Here, you have to fight the best of your abilities. And it doesn't really matter how you win. You just need to beat everybody in front of you to advance to the next level and eventually to win the whole thing.
Thank you, Andre.
Andre, in the PFL Origins video, you mentioned last year the changes made you feel a little destabilized, and you feel a lot more calm now. How did that mental shift occur?
В документальном фильме о тебе ты упоминал, что изменения в прошлом году делают какую-то дестабилизацию, то есть ты чувствовал себя немножко дестабилизированным, но что сейчас ты чувствуешь себя гораздо более спокойным и уверенным. Что ты можешь сказать про это?
Ну что я могу сказать по этому поводу? Сейчас я чувствую себя намного более уверенным, намного более спокойным и в своей тарелке, грубо говоря. И мне намного комфортнее находиться здесь, выступать в этой лиге, нежели чем в прошлом году, так как в прошлом году эта лига была для меня, скажем, новой, и немножко вынуждено было выступать в ней впервые. Наверное, любой новичок испытывает такие волнения. Вот, и они также были у меня. Но сейчас этих волнений нет, и я себя чувствую намного увереннее.
Yeah, last year it was my debut at PFL, and of course, probably as everybody would, I felt a little bit nervous, even though I have a huge professional experience, but still I was a new guy in this new league. Now, I can say that it's my new home, and I feel way more calm and confident being here.
You're one of the scariest people inside of the octagon. You did show, though, that, family is important to you. How much inspiration do you draw from your family?
Ты один из самых страшных людей в октагоне, в клетке. но при этом ты показал, что ты так заботишься о своей семье. Какую мотивацию дает тебе семья? Насколько она важна для тебя?
Ну, семья важна абсолютно для любого человека. Естественно, мотивацию она мне дает большую, так как свою семью нужно поддерживать, кормить, развивать. И для этого мне нужен добрый человек.
Well, of course, family is very, very important for myself as well as for anybody else. Because I have to protect my family, I have to feed my family, I have to provide for my family. And that's actually gives me an additional motivation to try to the best of my abilities to be able to do so.
Awesome. And last one for me. Have you ever brought the family to Orlando and had them come to Disney?
Вопрос тебе, ты когда-нибудь привозил семью в Орландо, Флорида, водил в Диснейленд?
Нет, такого опыта еще не было.
No, I haven't done that yet. Don't have this experience yet.
Thank you.
Andre, both you and Jason are former Bellator champions. Is he someone that you and your team have game planned for in the past when you guys were both in the top 5?
Джейсон Джексон является чемпионом Bellator, как и ты. Скажи, пожалуйста, вы до того, как я не изначально рассматривали как соперника, и, может быть, уже заранее вырабатывали какой-то геймплан, план на против него?
Естественно, я видел много его боев, так как он был чемпионом моей весовой категории, и в одно время даже, скажем так, я мог стать одним из претендентов, и, возможно, или даже уже был претендентом в один из моментов, но опять же решил продолжить свою карьеру именно в Лиге ПФЛ, нежели драться с ним. И так или иначе, я, скажем так, рассматривал этот бой, представлял, как он будет проходить, и думал о том, что можно и что получится от него.
Well, of course, he was a champion in Bellator while I was still in the organization, and in theory, myself and my team, we were viewing him as an opponent. And at one point, we were close, for me to become a challenger, but I decided to continue my career at PFL rather than fight for the Bellator title. So answering the question, yes, I've seen a lot of his fights. We view him as a potential opponent, and of course we have some thoughts about what could be done against him in the future.
And then he made some comments recently saying that if he was around when you were champion, you never would have been champion. What do you make of some of those remarks that he did make?
В одном из своих интервью он сказал, что если бы он в то время, когда был чемпионом, если бы он был в организации Bellator, то ты бы чемпионом никогда не стал. Что бы ты ответил на такую его ремарку?
Ключевое в этих словах было слово «если бы». Поэтому мы уже, скажем так, никогда не узнаем, было бы это так или нет. Но в любом случае, где он был раньше, когда я был чемпионом? Вообще не было. Я не дрался. Если бы мы подрались, то я думаю, что приехал бы.
Well, the key word in this remark of his is if. Since that's never happened, we can only guess on what could have been. When I was a champion, he was not around. Where was he when I was a champion? Was he fighting at all? I'm not really sure. So I was the champion. Please close.
Thank you.
Dylan here with Combat Casuals. Taking on another former champion in Jason Jackson so early in this tournament, do you see this as an opportunity to make a statement to the other contenders that you're coming for this world title?
Тот факт, что ты уже в четвертьфинале в первом бою встречаешься с экс-чемпионом Bellator, как ты считаешь, является ли это как бы платформой, возможностью сделать заявление этим боем для всего мира?
В любом случае, этот бой будет, наверное, одним из самых интересных боев в этом турнире. И не зря он будет носить характер главного события вечера. И да, наверное, что победитель в нашем бою может хорошо заявить о себе.
Well, I consider our fight to be the most interesting fight on the whole card today, and it's a main event for a reason. So I think that yes, it would be a great opportunity to make a huge statement for myself and my fight.
Now, it's been almost 10 years since you first beat Douglas Lima to capture the Bellator title. At 24 years old, did you think that you would be preparing to compete for another world title 10 years later?
10 лет назад ты завоевал титул в первом бою с Догласом Ли. 24 года ты как бы задумывался, что 10 лет спустя ты будешь снова тренироваться, готовиться к тому, чтобы снова захватить пояс чемпиона.
Ну, наверное, 10 лет назад об этом я не думал, но тем не менее карьера профессионального бойца поведомила то, что он будет защищать, уже завоевал титул на мировом. Что и произошло.
Well, probably 10 years ago I hadn't thought about it. But if you think about it, the career of a professional MMA fighter, or a professional top-level MMA fighter, pretty much consists of him either fighting his way towards the title or defending his title. So that's what's happening right now.
Now, when you face some legendary names in our sport like Douglas Lima, Benson Henderson, Ben Askren, what motivates you to continue to add those names to your resume?
Ты уже сталкивался с такими крупными именами, которые ты перечислил в этом спорте. Что мотивирует тебя добавлять новые имена к этому списку таких известных крутых соперников?
Мотивация одна – быть лучше их и быть лучше ними.
Motivation is pretty simple. To be the best, you have to be the best. So my motivation is to prove to myself and to the whole world that I'm the best.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Andre, for your time. Appreciate you.
Can I take a photo when you stand up?
Oh, yeah. Andre, can you
That's
take a-
perfect. Just one photo. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bop, bop, bop. Thank you.
All right, guys, I'll be right back with Jesus. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for translating.
No worries, my pleasure.
No, dude,
Yeah, you got that. You paused for like 18 seconds. You go, you are the scariest.
No, because
Opponent, I see the real.
no, because I said
dying.
to God.
I was dying.
That's what because I said
Yeah,
because I was
I can't,
so I was like,
Smart K.
yeah.
It was so funny. I was dying.
You got them. You got them.
Those guys that
Now I get it.
Yeah.
The pause.
I couldn't stop laughing.
winning a world title at 24, you know.
It was like 8 minutes. It's for dramatic.
24 and 34 is a different, different person.
Yes.
And then we can switch. Oh, you're gonna sit right next to me. Take a whopper right here, brother.
Gotta squeeze in.
All right, guys, we got 2023 featherweight world champion here, Jesus Pinedo. Anyone on Zoom? Mike, you got something for us? Go ahead.
Hey Zeus, welcome back. I think the easiest question is how excited are you to be back? But I'll ask not only how excited are you, How excited are you about this new format, the tournament, compared to the regular season points format?
Jesús, ¿cuán excitado estás de regresar a la jaula y cuán excitado estás del formato nuevo? O sea, es un torneo que gana y siga avanzando.
Buenas tardes con todos. Perfecto, ¿no? Me siento bien físicamente, me siento bien mentalmente. Estoy listo para regresar, ya quiero que sea 3 de abril para entrar a la jaula, ¿no? Y demostrar todo mi avance.
No, I'm ready for this. I've been training a long time for this fight. I'm ready for it to be the third and showcase all that I've been able to improve in these past months.
You became a champion inside of the PFL. You did so on the old format. Is there a new motivation with this world tournament, knowing it's lose and go home or win in advance? Do you find new motivation with this new format?
La última vez que peleaste antes del torneo fue con el formato viejo. Este formato ahora pierde y te va o gana y sigue y avanza. Hay más motivación al ser un torneo que si pierdes la primera pelea ya te eliminaste.
La verdad que no estoy pensando en eso. Para mí el formato sigue prácticamente igual, porque yo salgo con la misma mentalidad a todas las peleas que tengo, ¿no? Salgo y siempre las busco acabar.
It's not really something I've thought about. My mentality stays the same. I want to finish the fight as soon as possible, so being win or go home doesn't really change how I prepare for this fight.
Last question for me. Adam Orr spoke earlier today. He said, you know, he definitely feels a little bit of nervousness towards you making weight. Can you respond to that? And does that motivate you not only to come in and make weight, but put out an even better performance because you're being doubted?
Adam me dijo que se preocupa que no vaya a hacer peso. ¿Cómo eso te motiva para hacer peso y cuando sea la noche de pelea ganarle y enseñar lo preparado como está?
Adam puede quedarse tranquilo y no se va a salvar de esta pelea porque voy a dar peso totalmente normal sin ningún problema, así que espero que esté listo.
I'm kind of relaxed about that. I'm very well prepared for this fight and I'll make weight and I'll showcase what I've worked on Thursday.
Awesome, thank you.
Eddie.
Hey, Eddie Law, King to the press. Jesus, buenas tardes. Doing English here for our colleagues. Coming off just coming back from your team and Kevin Boaz having an incredible performance that he was making. What was it like to be in his corner for that one, and does that give you more juice, more energy for your fight?
Tu compañero Kevin Borja tuvo una pelea la semana pasada y ganó. ¿Cómo al estar en su esquina y estar parte de su equipo te ayuda a motivarte para esta pelea?
Sí, es un compañero que entrena conmigo hace muchos años, ¿no? Somos un equipo muy unido en Bernal, así que donde pelea uno, peleamos todos, ¿no? Yo también he hecho el cambio en México, en altura, así que estoy listo. Ahora que estoy haciendo hablando a nivel de mar, estoy listo para seguir, presionar la pelea, mucho más motivado.
It was very good for me. We've been training for a while, and this was a fight camp that we did actually in Mexico. So we were training in elevation. That's prepared me a lot for this fight. And when one of us goes to a fight in PMAC, we all go to fight. So seeing him win was awesome, and now I'll win this week.
So now you get your chance to represent Peru, just like your teammate just did in Mexico. Does that give you more motivation to come out and prove that Peruvian fighters can compete on the world stage?
Tú estás representando a Perú. Kevin, ya representa a Perú y ganó en México. ¿Cómo eso te motiva a ti esta semana a representar a Perú y seguir ganando?
Bueno, sigo yo el jueves, ¿no? Estoy totalmente listo, como les digo, físicamente al 100%, mentalmente al 200%. Así que esa victoria se va para Perú de todas maneras.
I'm fully ready for this fight. I've been training non-stop for this. I'm very ready, and this fight is going to be a win, and it's going to be for Peru.
And then last question for me. Last time we saw a video of you in Peru, you were going back with the world title. Is it a dream for you to do it one more time to get that kind of reception, the pride, feel the pride of your people, the pride of your country, and returning with yet another gold belt?
La última vez que pudimos regresar a Perú fue cuando fuiste campeón en el 2022. Ahora al regresar al torneo este año, ¿cómo tú quieres? ¿Tú te estás viendo ya ganando y regresando a Perú con el orgullo del país?
No voy a entrar al torneo si no estoy seguro de que vaya a haber un cinturón a casa. Eso para mí es totalmente seguro. Voy a venir y voy a arrasar con toda la categoría. sí o sí.
I wouldn't have entered this tournament if I didn't see myself winning, and the belt is going to go back home to Peru, and I'm certain about that.
After, you won 7 out of your last 8 fights, what do you feel has been the biggest reason for being on such a good streak?
Tú has ganado 7 de tus últimas 8 peleas. ¿Qué tú crees que es lo que te ha ayudado a tener una racha tan buena?
Yo creo que voy 8 de 8, la pelea con Braga siento que la gané y la voy a seguir diciendo. Esta pelea en Las Vegas, una edición dividida, pero bueno, es parte de, ¿no? Para mí, sigo con una racha de 8, así que estoy bien, lo que me motiva y lo que más es diferente a todos es la mentalidad que tengo, ¿no? Yo estoy listo siempre para pelear y siempre voy a salir a acabar las peleas.
What's helped me is my anxiety to finish every fight, whether it be by submission or knockout, but I want to finish fights early. And in my mind, I'm still 8-8 in my past 8 fights. I feel I beat Braga in Vegas, and I will keep on saying that.
Now your opponent, very talented as well. You guys are both very rangy. What do you feel are some of the advantages you have inside the cage?
Adame es un luchador muy bueno, con mucha herramienta. ¿Qué tú crees que tú tienes distinto que él no tiene?
O sea, tengo el hambre de ganar, ¿no? Tengo el hambre, esa necesidad de ganar. Tengo un país que me respalda y estoy totalmente listo.
I've got the hunger and need to win, and I've got a country that's on my back, and I want to win for them.
Now, after having to, adjust your game plan without elbows for the last season, how excited are you to have that weapon back?
¿Cómo te gusta ahora tener los codos, ser legal y cómo lo planeas usar esta temporada?
Lo voy a usar lo más que pueda en todas las peleas. Es un arma que utilizo mucho, siempre he usado los codos, ¿no? Tengo muchos knockouts con codos, así que estoy listo para la gran acción.
It's a weapon I've used a lot in the past. I've got a lot of elbow knockouts, and I'm ready to show that off this season.
Thank you, good luck.
Jesus, El Dawson here, Fight Bananas. Both you and Adam Borich have both had long layoffs. How has this layoff affected you, either positively or negatively, and what kind of statement are you trying to make?
Tú y Adam no has peleado por mucho tiempo, los dos no han peleado en bastante. ¿Cómo ese tiempo sin pelear te ha ayudado o no te ha ayudado? ¿Y cómo tú planeas enseñarle a la gente lo que has mejorado durante ese tiempo?
Siento que me ha ayudado mucho este tiempo que no estaba en competencia. No he estado al ritmo competitivo, ¿no? No he entrado a la jaula otra vez, pero he estado entrenando, me he estado preparando físicamente, me he estado preparando mentalmente. Así que ese descanso me ha ido bien y se va a ver todo reflejado el 3 de abril.
Well, while I haven't been active in the cage fighting, I've been training all the time. I've had a lot of teammates fighting, and I've been able to physically recover, improve my overall conditioning, and it's something that's going to show off this week when I step into the cage.
Many of us were incredibly excited to watch you enter the cage against Pitbull last year. Can you speak to why that fight was canceled?
Mucha gente estaba emocionada por tu pelea contra Pitbull el año pasado. ¿Nos puede explicar qué fue lo que sucedió que no se iba a la pelea?
Sí, ya estaba totalmente listo. Yo también estaba emocionado por esa pelea, era una pelea que la quería de verdad. Si no me equivoco, me lesioné 8 o 9 días antes de la pelea, justo antes del viaje para Arabia Saudita. Son cosas que pasan en el deporte, ¿no? Nadie está libre de una lesión y por ese motivo no pude ir a pelear.
That was also a fight that I was very excited for, and a couple of days before heading out to Saudi, 8 or 9 days, I hurt my back and I wasn't able to make the fight. It's stuff that happens in the fight game. It's a fight that I wish could have happened, but it all happens for a reason.
You've already avenged your lone PFL loss to Gabriel Braga. Do you welcome the possibility of a third fight with him in the semifinals, or would you rather face a new opponent?
Ya tú le pudiste ganar a Braga después que te ganó la primera pelea. Este año te lo puedes encontrar otra vez en las semifinales. ¿Quisiera enfrentarte una tercera vez o quisiera pelear contra alguien nuevo que nunca te ha enfrentado?
No me importa con quién me toque, la verdad no estoy pensando en eso aún. Estoy pensando, tengo dos cosas en mi mente, la pelea de este jueves y a ver si me lo van a casa, es lo único. A cualquiera que me pongan al frente voy a salir y lo voy a romper.
I really don't care who I would end up facing in the semis. My main goal is to win this fight and then bring the belt home at the end of the tournament. But I could face anyone. I'll beat anyone.
Thank you so much.
Jesus, it's been a year and a half since fight fans have last seen you in the cage. What can they expect in your return this week?
Ha sido un año y medio desde la última vez que teníamos pelear. Que vamos a ver nuevo esta vez que tenemos pelear.
Sí, yo sé que ha pasado mucho tiempo, ¿no? Pero estoy listo. Si creen que el 2023 fue un año bueno para mí, créanme que el 2025 va a ser un año asombroso.
It's been a long day out for me, and I'm also excited to be back in the cage. And if you thought I looked good in 2023, wait to see what I've done in 2025, where I look much, much better.
And then last year, we had Timur Khizriev defeat Brendan Loughnane in the final. What did you make of the tournament last season?
El año pasado Timur le ganó a Brendan en la final. ¿Qué tú hiciste del season del año pasado? ¿Qué viste que te gustó, que no te gustó y quién te impresionó? Sí, algo.
Sí, hubieron peleadores muy buenos, peleadores nuevos, ¿no? En esa temporada, todos de primer nivel, como siempre, el PFL, todo el mundo sabe que es una organización a nivel mundial donde tiene muchos peleadores de alto nivel. Pero impresionar, siento que no impresionó, sé que todos son de alto nivel, ¿no? Es lo que se espera en verdad en esta liga.
All the guys last year were very high level. PFL is a world-class organization with lots of tough guys. There was nothing really that surprised me or shocked me. I think I could beat all these guys. Nobody's a bad fighter, but I'm just better than them.
Dylan here with Combat Casuals. As someone that has gone through the old format with the regular season and the playoffs, how does it feel to make that change to the Grand Prix style with the bracket system? Is this something that you prefer, or did you like the old format?
¿Cómo te gusta tener un formato nuevo de torneo? O sea, que esta vez si pierdes, te eliminas y si ganas, sigue avanzando. Ya que tú has peleado en el torneo viejo y en el torneo nuevo. ¿Qué te gusta o no te interesa el cambio?
Como lo vengo diciendo, con el cambio no es algo que sienta que me afecte o me favorezca, en verdad me da igual, voy a salir a acabar todas las peleas. Lo que sí me gusta del nuevo formato, muy aparte de la eliminación, son los codos, no es algo que siento que me arma a mí.
I've been saying this all week. For me, the change doesn't affect anything how I fight. I'm gonna go get the finish. I would do that in the season or in the new tournament style. What I will say is that being able to have elbows in the fights is something that's gonna help me a lot, and I'm very excited for that.
Awesome. So a lot has changed since your last fight, specifically the merger between PFL and Bellator rosters. Is there any names from that Bellator side that you were excited about facing in the future?
Mucho ha cambiado desde la última vez que peleaste al haber comprado Bellator. ¿Hay algún luchador de Bellator que quisiera enfrentarte o no tiene nada en mente?
No, no tengo nada en mente, quiero enfrentarme a los mejores, así que me pongan está bien.
I don't have anyone in mind. I'll just face whoever they throw at me, and I want to face the best.
All right, last one for me now. Coming up on almost 2 years since we've seen you in the cage, how does it feel to be finally making that return?
¿Cómo se siente después de tanto tiempo regresar a la jaula?
Estoy contento, estoy feliz, tengo una emoción por dentro, ¿no? Como te dije hace un momento, ya quiero que sea 3 de abril para salir y demostrarles todo lo que traigo.
I'm super excited for this fight. It's been a long time coming. I'm ready for April 3rd to come and showcase all that I've been working on.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Anyone else? Okay, great. Thank you so much, Jesus. Appreciate your time today.
Can I just take a photo when you stand up? Gracias. Un, dos, tres. Pam, pam, pam. Gracias.
Thank you so much.
You want whatever is gonna drop to drop?
No, because we're here.
Yeah. Little flash of yes.
And then after this, we'll do all these pictures, all these videos. Like, what? Sorry.
I'm about to do it at 3:14, so let's see if it works again. When they scan your phone, like your Ticketmaster to get in, they can never scan it again. So like if you just make it look different, like the numbers where you're supposed to be, the people that like let you down into those areas, they're like, oh, well, let me see your ticket. And you show them, and they're like, oh, okay, go through. But
And that's how I got to the floor section.
so
That's crazy.
for $2.99, me and two of my buddies, it didn't just work for me, it worked for two people that I brought with me. I showed up in a giant fur alpaca jacket, sunglasses, and chains on, and
You had the hair.
yeah. So they let me. I didn't know that.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, we've got Jason Jackson here, our last guy of the day. Anyone on Zoom got anything for Jason? Mike? Go right ahead.
Jason, I know we've talked a lot leading up into this fight. Now we're just 48 hours away. How excited are you now that fight week is finally here?
Very excited and pumped, thrilled to go out there and deliver the way I train and make it happen. The way I envision it to.
You're obviously someone that's very easy for a company like the PFL to market your story, your work ethic, things that you do inside the cage, outside the cage. Going all in and bringing so much attention to this fight, do you think everything has fallen into place for the fans to really capture the opening round of this world tournament?
Yes, absolutely. You know, God is writing the story. I'm not in control. I'm just going with the flow, and I know everything will be all right because it can't touch our work. You know, y'all gonna deliver.
I appreciate the time, Jason. All the best to it.
Thank you.
Alexander?
Hello, Jason. There are 3 Russian fighters in your tournament, Mohamed Berkhamov, Magomed Umalatov, and Andrei Koreshkov. Who is the most dangerous of them?
Mohammed, for sure.
Do you think he will be your future opponent in the finals?
Absolutely. Once I get past Kershkov, I think definitely he will be we'll be able to share the ring.
All right.
Jonathan Ramadan, Fight Bananas. Jason, you've proven so much already, winning the Bellator Championship, solving a 27-0 puzzle, winning the PFL Super Belt. What are you looking to prove with this tournament?
That, you know, I could win tournaments, especially the format, one year out, one shot, and you know, you eliminate it. And it's something that I haven't accomplished, so it kind of pushed me past my limit to actually get out there and prove to myself that yes, I can accomplish it, which is winning the tournament.
Now, in the debut episode of PFL Origins, you were able to bring the PFL Super Belt to your primary school, right? Share it with all the kids. You won a title before, but what was the emotions when you were able to do that for them?
Well, I couldn't, you know, plan for that lead up, right? It was kind of like, it was organic. We did not plan for nothing to happen at that school. It was just like, hey, let's just walk over to my primary school, and then all of a sudden it was like, wow, the kids would see someone from their community actually make it out and actually doing good in the international scene. And it was like, they embraced me, and you know, to see my stepfather there as well, it was kind of emotional as well. So I can't wait to actually win this tournament and go back and show them more love. And even if things don't go the way like I plan out, I'm still gonna go back there and do something. I'm not waiting to win the tournament to go out there and show the goodness of my heart.
Now, you said one of the most important things for you is the legacy, right? right? And one of the things you want to do is go back and leave that legacy for out in Jamaica. What are some of the things that you plan on doing for the youth out there?
Well, I want to bring MMA. MMA started there, but I would love to bring more attention to the MMA scene in Jamaica because we have a lot of talent there. And Jamaica is like 50 minutes away from Florida. So we should be going there with PFL and doing fights, more fight there because we have a lot of talent coming out of Jamaica. You see what we have brought to the table, from music to running to all different sort of sport, from boxing to the body snatching. We have done a lot. We made a lot, you know, from a small island in Jamaica. It's the only island in the Caribbean Sea. We make a lot of noise. Music as well too.
So speaking of music, who are your three favorite dancehall artists?
My favorite dancehall artist, that's a hard one because there's so much good dancehall artists out there. It's hard to call a name. Like I said, I like Damon Marley. I like Buju Banton, and also Barrington Lee. It's more of an old school soul, so you know.
Absolutely. Thank you and good luck in your fight.
Thank you so much.
Hi Jason, Elle Dawson with Bike Bananas. You were very vocal after your very close fight against Ramazan in Dublin that you were disappointed with the situation. How disappointed are you that you were not able to win your belt back before the dissolution of Bellator, and how happy are you to be fighting here at home in Florida after the Dublin debacle?
I'm disappointed because if I would have won, I would have been able to kept my belt that night. I know Bellator would have stayed alive because I would have been fighting. I would have been, you know, keep everything alive, keep people excited. And I was just disappointed with the circumstance, but I learned from the circumstance to where I'm now just calm and relaxed because I felt like it's never going to be as much pressure as I had in Dublin. It was like, you know, I got there 3 days and I had to do all media, cut weight. I still had to keep up with my obligations. And now I'm here in Florida. Oh man, it's just 3-hour drive. I pack up everything that I need for the road, and you know, I'm acclimated to the time and the weather. So nothing really changed when I get to perform in front of my crowd, my home crowd. And people in Jamaica and all across the world gonna see like, yeah, Jason Jackson is a different guy. And I learned from my last bout, which was in Dublin. It was kind of short, but I got it done and I did my best, at my best. And I felt like he couldn't match that night.
You speak about making these changes and learning from them. You've said in the past that your biggest losses came when you were fighting angry. How have you changed your mental game approaching this fight?
This fight, you know, I just said, I'll say, you know what? Everything is put in perspective. We just go out there and just live the moment because you can't control a certain moment. And that was one of the moments that I thought I could have controlled by being angry and taking out on my opponent. But that's not when I'm at my best. I'm at my best when I'm having fun, you know, living life, smiling, dancing, and enjoy my music, enjoy the whole build-up and everything coming out, you know, that day. And that was not there. And I could tell once I watched the video. I go back and I rewatch the footage from the fight. The first 2 rounds I was so angry I forgot who I was. And I didn't deliver the way I could have by just being me and doing my Rasta wrestling and, you know what I'm saying, make it fun and mix it up like no other fighter can. I just forgot who I was, spiritually and physically.
Speaking of doing things that no other fighter can, you are the first and only man to defeat Umalatov Yaroslav. Your thoughts on his release and choice to leave the promotion?
Well, before I called my shot, and when he was 27-0, I said I was gonna be the one and only one to put that one on his record and give him his pink slip. And I think he was trying to go to the UFC, but if I was the big boss and the executive over there, I wouldn't take no fighter on such condition and such loss like that, because I put him out, face down, ass up. That's what it was. So I think he need to go back and redeem himself.
Last question for you. There are several former champions from Bellator in the tournament this year, including your teammate, former interim champion Logan Storley. Have you guys discussed the possibility of meeting each other in the finals, and how do each of you feel about it?
No, we don't discuss that, because every day we in the gym, we're throwing down, we're fighting, so we know that's what comes with the sport. You know, nobody ain't shying away from that. It's competition. You know how to compete, I know how to compete, and we're fighting for something good. We fight for legacy. We fight for bragging rights. And we have to understand that, you know, we're co-workers as well too. So we have to understand that's what comes with the sport. So, you know, it's no hard feeling at the end of the day. We're gonna go and go out there, and if we get in the finale, which is later on down the line, I still have to get past my opponent. He has to get past his opponent. You got a tough opponent, and I also got a tough opponent. So right now we're more focused on that. But sometimes you can tell the awkwardness in the room, but we understand that.
Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you.
Jason, so far for the PFL, for social media, you've kind of been the poster boy for PFL Orlando, especially the welterweight tournament. Do you like that? Do you take that on with stride, or is it extra pressure for you?
No, I'm soaking it all in because this is all I asked for. I prayed for all this moment, and it paid to be the boss. So I'm the man. I'm the main event. So I have to lead by example. This is why they put me in this position, because they know every single opportunity that's presented to me, I'm taking full advantage of it. And this is one of them.
Beautiful. My last one for you. The brackets out there, people have been talking about opponents and past opponents and teammates. For you, is there a perfect way that this bracket breaks down? Is there like, oh, this happens, of course you're gonna win your three, but is there a way that you looked at the bracket already and be like, oh, this would be good for me? Good matchups in the semis or in the finals?
Well, once I get, like I said, my plan and my strategy is to stay the course. PFL already, I mean, God already wrote everything out already. So whatever it is, once I look up all the opponent, I see there is either all striker or grappler. So I'm just excited to go out there and, you know, crack the puzzle like I know how to. And I had dealt with this in Bellator leading up to the title fight. I had to get through all the strikers, which I did. And then, you know, once I get to the grappler, make my hands speak.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dylan Wayne here with Combat Casuals. When facing down an athlete like Andrei Korshkov, who has competed against guys like Ben Askren, Douglas Lima, Benson Henderson, do you and your team draw inspiration from their approaches to fighting him, or are you focusing more on what you do and what you do best?
And he also fought Douglas Lima and Lorenz Larkin. Those are some of the opponents that you forgot. And I have faced Douglas Lima, and I've seen a fight against both those opponents, and I realized that this guy cannot deal with aggression, people that's coming forward on him, and somebody will fight back, somebody that's not gonna be, you know, a pushover. And I'm not known for that character. That's not in my character. Ain't no quitting me, no timid, none of that. I'm gonna go after him, and he's not gonna like that, not gonna know how to deal with that.
Awesome, man. So how does coming off a close fight where a world title was taken from you motivate you to handle this tournament a little bit different than you did your last fight?
To me, I feel like PFL is trying to punish me. I'm gonna show them that, hey, that was me. I did not drop the ball on that. I did everything in my power. Even when, I'm not gonna say PFL, but that was on Bellator and or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? They dropped the ball with my visa issue or whatnot. So I'm just gonna prove to everyone that, listen, I did everything in my power to make it right. And I did not shy away from the challenge of getting there late and still save the main event that night. And I did my best. I did not quit, not one bit. And there was moments in that fight when I could just say, you know what? Based on the circumstance, I have all reason to just, you know, quit. And I didn't. I showed my heart, and I showed my will to compete, and I showed my determination, and I showed everyone that, hey, I'm gonna be that guy.
And one last one for me. You've spoken a lot about missing the fun factor in your last fight, and that really played a part into, you know, the build-up and the emotions in that. How does having fun inside the cage play into the style that you found so much success with?
Well, everything has to be on point, and that's part of that is arriving early at the event, where you can fulfill all your obligations in a respectful time manner. And that kind of threw my timing off, especially with being acclimated to the time over there and all that. Usually, like I said, I take time to cut my weight gradually and, you know, do things that I didn't have time to do. I had to cut, like, within the day when I arrived in Ireland, I had to cut like 6 pounds within that day. That was before the weight cut day, just to catch up with all the jet lag and traveling New York, trying to get my visa and all this stuff. I showed up at the immigration office myself in Ireland, the Ireland immigration office, and make it happen so I can go and save the show at PFL Bellator that night. And, you know, the important part about like having fun for me is the fact that, you know, I could get up every day and embrace everything. I felt like I didn't get to enjoy Ireland and stuff because I got there in such short time. It's like I wasn't paying attention to nothing around me. You know, I didn't get to embrace everything and soak everything in, like, man, I'm in Ireland. None of that until when I left and I looked at the picture and like, man, I felt like I wasn't there spiritually, but physically I was there. Everything was off of me. I was in the back of the locker room and I was like yarning. Literally about to go out and fight, and it felt like it. And I exerted so much energy trying to be myself that I felt like I depleted myself before I walked out there. And that's something that I remind myself always, just have fun and the rest will take care of itself.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, Jason, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank
Appreciate you.
Jason, can I do a photo when you stand up?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, my friend. 1, 2, 3.